By the way, last time I told you that we already have derived parametrization, di ba? So, given a curve, there are many ways to traverse a curve. And dito gyapon sa video ako ang discuss na siya dito, right? Different type of motion. Same path but different type of motion. It could be constant speed motion, constant acceleration magnitude motion, or changing or whatever. So meaning different dynamics, same path. So each parametrization will give us what we call a dynamics. Okay? So this dynamics is understood. That means that if we have the same, the path can be given by either a parametric equation or an algebraic equation, diba? A parametric equation means that it is now in terms of a parameter, and usually it's time. Okay? I'm not saying time is the only parameter. Time is just one of the possible parameter. Okay? So, same path, different dynamics, different, but one fundamental law, okay, that governs it all. Okay? That's what we want to understand, that law that governs it all. Okay? So that's the power of parametric curves, because that's why in physics you don't arrive at the equation of an algebraic curve, because an algebraic curve can be traversed by different types of dynamical system of dynamics, same path but different kinematics, different dynamics. The law that will give us the dynamics of this one is the Newton's laws of motion. So there are 3 such laws. Okay? And nag-discuss na ba? Nakasugod taan ni last meeting? Wala, no? Okay, the first law is the law of inertia. Okay, so the law of inertia is summation of forces equals 0. This is the zero vector. Meaning, it's not implying that the sum of all forces is always 0. This is the first law, is what happens when the sum of forces is 0. Okay? This is, now the system is, number 1 is equilibrium. What is equilibrium? That's number 1. The law of inertia states that what happens at equilibrium. Okay? So the system will not accelerate. Now there are 2 types of equilibrium. We have static and dynamic equilibrium. So static is, like that camera there, is in static equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium is that whenever you're traveling in a constant velocity, meaning constant velocity, not changing direction and not changing speed. The second one is the sum of all forces equals ma. What happens when things are not in equilibrium? So it will accelerate such that the acceleration, the direction of the net force, this is the net force, right? This is a vector sum, okay, is equal to the acceleration a. And here, the third law is the law of action and reaction, or interaction. The law of interaction. So, in every force stated, there is an equal but opposite force, reactive force. And this is actually, the third law is murag, as I've said in that lecture there, and I will say this to this class again, it's actually the nature's tendency. Okay? The tendency to, or the habit, not just tendency, but a habit or addiction to maintain equilibrium. Nature will always find equilibrium. It's always like that. The law is always to find equilibrium. Sometimes, when the system is in dynamic state, that wala equilibrium, so the equilibrium, it doesn't mean that the equilibrium will not be achieved. The equilibrium will be achieved maybe at infinity, but still, nature is trying. That's why there's movement. That's why there's that, in order to achieve that equilibrium. When things collapse, it will go towards the ground, diba? Pag di niya makaya, meaning that the building or whatever is that table can no longer hold that force, it will collapse. And the collapse is, the motion is towards dito. Okay? And it's actually the motivation that even that is the uh, that motivation is to maintain this what we call so-called equilibrium. Okay? Okay, so that's the third law. So what is equilibrium? What happens when what is equilibrium? What is not in equilibrium? And uh, what we call it's like how to, yeah, we can state this as how to keep things in equilibrium. Okay? Or yeah, the universe's kumbaga pa habit or addiction to keep things in equilibrium. So that's why this universe is about balance. Okay. But now, when we apply this, diyan ang problema. But this is again an equation. Okay? From here comes A. What we want from Newton's laws is we want to achieve the trajectory R, which is made up of three possible vectors: x of t, y of t, or I'll just x of t, I hat plus y of t, j hat plus z of t, k hat. So we have three position functions that we need to arrive at. We need to know x, y, and z. But well, it depends. If for one-dimensional motion, x and y and z are not. It's out of the picture. For a motion in a plane, then you have only x, y. For 3D, then you have to deal with the 3. But then, if we need these 3, but what we arrive at is A, right? From Newton's laws, we have A of t. And what is A of t? This is d squared x over dt squared I plus d squared y over the second derivative. Okay? J plus d squared z over dt squared k. And I hope by this time, katong mga, yeah, wala background sa calculus. And since we have already discussed this and discussed it in pila na, more than 2 weeks has passed. By this time, you should have taught yourself. Daghan kay mga wala gyud reason nga dili na ninyo nga di na mo ka-solve ani. Okay? So, we arrive at the Newton's laws leads us to accelerate to a function of acceleration, a function as a function of time. Okay? And how can we arrive? How can we reach x from A? Okay, mo na kuan karon. Is that because we want this, but then the first principles that will lead us to this one doesn't go directly from this one to that one. Instead, it lands on this one. Okay? So, this is actually what we call this one will, for one dimension, you have f, summation of f equals m d squared x over dt squared. Or this is equal to m a of t, right? Okay. So, m a of t. So, you have a of t is equal to this. So, that means if you have only one dimension, so we have that. A of t is equal to d squared x over dt squared. And this is what we call a differential equation. Okay? So, it's like in your in usual of calculus, basic calculus, you are given the function f of x. And then find f prime, f double prime, diba? Usually that's the exercise. But now, what we are given is an equation involving f prime, f double, it could be f prime, f double prime, and maybe f. And then it's an equation. Baliktad na karon. We want to find that function, and it's quite much harder. But of course, we will not be doing differential equations here. Okay, at least the differential equations that would arise in basic physics are not really complicated, and we can just understand them by given the background of very basic calculus. Okay, so we have here that when we differentiate a function twice, you get this function right here. Okay? Now, here, the sum of F, it could be anything. Okay? It could be, So, we will now discuss, derive the, pinaspasan ako niya because this is just that's why gipatanaw na ko to sa inyo ha, kay para, dili na kay kumuano og heavy nga, discussion dere. Okay, let's derive the case in which the net force, F net, the sum of all forces in one dimension is constant. Okay? So meaning a constant force. The sum of it doesn't mean that you have only one force. It could be many forces acting on a particle. It could be many forces acting on it. Some pulling it, some, but then, we want that such that the net force is constant. Okay? Now, it might even be possible that each of these individual forces are not constant. They may depend on something. But then, bahala na unsa na sila, whatever each of these forces, we don't care about the nature of each of these forces. What we care is that the sum of this, whether each of these are constants or not constant, but what we care, we say that the sum must be constant. Okay, meaning not only in terms of magnitude, but also in terms of direction. So that's what it implies. That's what implies when vector is constant. When the sum of the vector is constant. So F equals constant. That means that since F is directly related to A, so this is equal to MA, this would imply that our A must be some constant. So a constant net force would lead to a motion with constant acceleration. Okay? So here we are now into the category of constant force. This is actually now a constant acceleration motion or uniformly accelerated motion. This is because in books you might see this as uniformly accelerated motion. But then the problem with that one is that it was not explained there nganong nata uniformly accelerated motion. It's just given that what if we have a uniformly accelerated motion. But now in this in the way that I teach you this, uniformly accelerated motion comes from, what's the reason for this? The reason for this is that the net force that acts on the particle, okay, whether they are two-dimensional, three-dimensional, and we are, okay, is that the net force is constant. Now, it doesn't mean that each of the forces is constant. It could be that some of them are constant, some of them are not. We don't care about that any long. We don't care about that for now. Okay. Of course, in the next lesson, duha ka perspective. As for now, we want just to care about the acceleration. In our next topic, we will now be looking into this individual force. Okay? But still, the same thing. Lahi lahat ng perspective. Sa equality, as for now, we are looking at this one. And don't care about this. Of the individual forces that contributes. Okay? We're just looking into the sum. Okay? In the next topic, we will be dissecting these forces. Okay? So that's the flow actually. Balik-balik lang kita. It's always the working equation will always be F equals MA. That will always be the working equation. So here, a uniformly accelerated motion comes from the fact that the net force is constant. And if you say one-dimensional, okay, well, we don't care. We actually, whatever is, if this is the net force, then we can just put the axis there, right? Okay, because we can choose whatever way that we put our coordinate system. Doesn't always have to be like this. Okay? So we can just say, okay, here's that. Okay, to simplify things. Okay, so here you have uniformly accelerated motion. Now, since it is a constant, so you have ma equals m d squared x. Now, we know that this is also equal to dv over dt, right? And from here, we now have a is equal to dv over dt. This is a constant. Now, of course, in calculus now, the question now is in purely, the physics ends up to this point right here. Well, napay ano di ay. But technically, taman diri, all after this is mathematics. And, okay? So you have dA is equal to dv over dt. What is that function? Because here, that implies that we have a function v of t that when we differentiate it with respect to time, we have a constant a. Okay? Now, it's not difficult to say, to see that the solution is that v of t is equal to at plus some constant, right? Because when you differentiate that function, it becomes a. Okay, it's not easy to see this. And actually, this is just anti-differentiation. You can look at it as a dt equals dv. So you integrate both sides. Okay? Now, this one is at plus c. Why there must be a constant? As I've said, this is anti-differentiation, right? Because we don't know that constant. And of course, this is v, dv is v plus some constant c. So I'll just move the constant here. Okay, so C1 plus C2 is just another constant. Okay. Now, not knowing this constant means that we could not solve the problem. It's not just a constant. It is very important. Okay? It's not just a constant. It is very important if we want to predict things. Okay? Because, in fact, this one is an equation of a line. If you have a VT space, T and then V, equation of AT, well, assuming A is positive, but it can be negative, but let's say A is positive, AT plus C is, kana, di ba? That's the equation of a line. That's a line. Y equals mx plus b. So here, b is equal to at plus c. We don't know c, but what is this? This is the y-intercept, right? Now, this one, the y-intercept is right here. That means, depending on the value of c, like for example, this line has this equation. If this is what we call C1, then this has equation y is equal, v is equal to at plus C1. If this is C1 right here. It depends on the C. That when we have, okay, the differential equation leads to the, what we call, to an infinite number of solution. Okay? And we don't know which one. Which is that velocity such that when we differentiate, it gives us A. But the thing is, there are so many velocities that would give us, when we differentiate with time, it will give us an acceleration of A. That means, many velocity function, infinitely many velocity function, as a function, velocity as a function of time, that has an acceleration of a constant acceleration, the same, exactly A. If A is 2, then all of them will have 2. In all points. Infinitely many. And these are those velocities. Linear. But what have we found here? That for a constant acceleration, our velocity is a linear function of time. What does it mean by a linear function of time? The increase, if there is an equal, if we measure an equal interval of time, okay, 2 points, 2 different intervals measured, if this and this are the same, then this must be the same to this, right? That is a characteristic of a linear function. Okay? That's the velocity. The change in the velocity is constant. And that's what acceleration is. So there are many types of velocities that would give us a constant acceleration of A. Okay? Right? Infinitely many of them. Now, in order to solve, that's why we cannot solve a problem if we don't have what we call a data. Okay? Or the snapshot. That means that there should be what we call measurement. Otherwise, we only have a mathematical model. Okay, which we cannot use to predict things. Maybe we can see the behavior of things from a mathematical model, but we cannot use it. It's almost useless for practical purposes. Okay? Maybe for ideal purposes, it's good because there are lots of mathematical models karon that just a model and they're effective in actually trying to understand things. But we cannot actually use them in order to predict exactly. Okay? Because there's no measurement. So there must be a measurement. And that measurement is like a picture of the system in the X space. XY space na lang. Let's say two-dimensional ta. In the XY space, a picture, a snapshot in the XY space. What would you see in a snapshot? Well, first you would see the location of the particle at the time that you took the snapshot. Okay? Meaning, if this is taken at t equals 0, then the particle is at, well, we call this as x naught and y naught, right? That's the snapshot. And not only that, you will also need to know which is the direction and at what speed, meaning the velocity. You should need to know this direction right here. From that, you will know that, okay, the system has velocity v naught x and v naught y, or just v naught, which is the square, the magnitude of v naught is just this sum of the squares of v naught x and v naught y. So you need to know not only the location, but to where is it heading. Okay? The direction. So meaning, somehow, your snapshot is not some sort of still, it must capture some very small displacement, right? To know the direction. Because if you only have that one and you don't know the direction, then you only have this. You know the location, but not the direction. And even the velocity, right? The magnitude, the speed, you don't know that. But if you have some snapshot, kamurag medyo kanaganing, long expose, right? That's the purpose when you expose a picture, di ba? You expose it, not in a 0 second. When you take a snapshot, actually, ang exposure time, actually, muna yan sa photography, kaano mo kanang hayag kaya nga, kanaganing dark but very, or when you observe the night sky, you need long exposure. And 30 minutes exposure, you would see the moon moving, the path of the moon nga ana. Okay, and even a very dark night, as long as na light, a long exposure, you would be able to capture, but things will be double, di ba? Multiple exposures. Okay, so that's what we mean. So you need not only that you need a still, at the same time not a still, but some sort of an some quite long exposure. Long siguro, but not a 0 time, right? So you would see some delta shadow. In that case, you would know the direction and you would know the, so that's data. So translated in one dimension, that means that we must know the initial position x naught and also the initial velocity v naught. If we have y, then we must know y naught, and this is now becomes v naught x and v naught y. Okay? As of now, we are this. This is what we call an initial or a final condition. It depends. If you take this as the first, as time equals 0, then it's called an initial condition. Okay? And this is what you will need in order to solve this equation. Because in the VT space, okay, regardless of which time that you measured, let's say you took the snapshot here, and the velocity is this one. This is the velocity, right? Now, there's only one line that passes to this point that has a slope of A. And it's a fact in mathematics, in Cartesian geometry. Given a point, okay, we have seen sa atong snapshot na siya dire, right? This is the velocity. Given a point, and there's only one one line that passes through that point, which has a slope of A, in this case A. And this is that line. Okay? So this is that line that passes through that one. From that, we can solve, diba, if we have an equation of the line, we have a point and we have a slope. We have a point-slope form, tama? Sa equation of the line, you have y is equal to mx plus b. You know what's m, but you don't know b. But then if you have a point xy, x naught, y naught, then you can solve this by substituting, tama? And then solving for b. Then maugya po na itong buhaton dire. Means that we can solve this. This is actually v of t, right? Now, at t equals 0, let's just take at t equals 0, the initial condition. What is the velocity? V is equal to, V of t is 0. That means that this is equal to A times 0 plus C. No, not 0, but let's take this as V naught, no? This one right here. Okay? At t equals 0, V is equal to V naught. From here, we can see that C is equal to V naught. So, meaning that our solution is V of t equals V naught plus AT. Okay? Mao ni siya. And this is knowing exactly the velocity at any point in time. This is already a predictive function, a function that predicts things in terms of time. You would know how fast that thing will move at all times. Okay? Because of that. So, we have this equation. Now, but of course, this is not yet the complete story. Because what we need is not V, but X. And so, this one, again, leads to another equation. We have V, which is equal to dx over dt is equal to V naught plus AT. Now, again, what is that function x of t, meaning here, because x is differentiated, so we have the function x of t, right? What is that function x of t that when we differentiate, we get this? Okay? And of course, this is just meaning, this is the solution, it should be that x will be a quadratic function of time, right? Okay? Or you have now, again, we integrate dx equals V naught plus AT dt. So you integrate both sides. By the way, this, we don't even need to do this one. Because if we have these conditions, in fact, automatically, this is an indefinite integral, right? Now, what happens when the indefinite integral becomes a definite integral? Katong sa fundamental theorem of calculus, the constant will vanish, right? Now, this initial condition will allow us to know the integration, the time that we are, the portion of space where we are actually integrating the function. Meaning that it could be that it started at t at t is equal to, it could be 0. At t is equal to 0, what's the velocity? V naught. Diba? That's the condition. And of course, at t is equal to some time t, this is what we are interested at any time t, the velocity must be v. What happens when you integrate this? This is just a times 0, times t, right? Minus a times 0, right? Equals v minus v naught, and you get the same. Okay? So that's what the purpose of that is. Actually, it's either we have an indefinite integral and then solve for the constant by this, or use it, automatically convert the problem into a definite integral, in which the constant will vanish, right? From the fundamental theorem of calculus, second fundamental, katong sa ikaduha. Okay? From that, then we have this, our indefinite integral, which gives us a constant, will no longer, the constant will vanish. Okay? So we can do that one here. We can do the same, or we will just do the definite integration, right? Meaning, we measured at time t is equal to 0, what is x? X naught, right? And at some time t, well, this is some x. We don't know that. Okay, we want to evaluate this at this time, given that it is at x naught when it is at 0, the correspondence between the limits of integration. Okay? Now, of course, when you integrate dx, just x, right? Evaluated from x to x naught. Okay? So, this is just, okay. So, this is x minus x naught equals v naught t plus 1/2 a t squared evaluated from 0 to t. Right? Okay? And you have here x minus x naught equals, of course, at t, this is just v naught t plus 1/2 a t squared. At 0, then this is all 0, right? So this is our second equation. We have this, our first equation, and our second equation. But then, we added some parameters or constants into the system, or variables. Then, instead of just, we need more than 2, because we have actually 4 variables to solve. So, we need 4 equations. Okay? We need 4 equations. So, where do we get the other 2 equations? Okay? Now, in my previous lecture, katong ipatanaw ako sa inyo, the one, I derived the third equation. The one coming from the VT space, and then finding the area here. I derive it there. I will no longer derive it now. I want you to derive it dito, no? I derive it, the third equation. I will just give the third equation directly and just review my video on this one. So that is just x minus x naught equals v plus v naught over 2 times time. Okay? From this one, the area of this quadrilateral is actually equal to, this is x minus x naught, is the area. Now, to calculate x minus x naught, use just some geometry, and then you will know that it's v, provided that this is starts at v naught and 0 time, and this is at v and some time t. Okay? Now, the fourth equation, we have now the third equation. Okay, to buy time, I will no longer derive this one because the algebra is quite long. Medyo taas, pero it's tight. It will, cost us some time. Now, the fourth equation is we go back again to A is equal to dv over dt. Now, since the position changes with time, Right? The position changes with time. It could be, right? At this position, at different time, right? This position, different time. And also, velocity is changing with the function, with time. That means that different position, different velocities, and actually that's true, right? This is the velocity at that point, and this is pana, right? Tangent to the curve. That means that the velocity, not only that it is a function of time, but it is also a function of x. In fact, we can say that v is a function of x, and that x is a function of time. That means that if we don't know v as a function of time, suppose that we don't know this, okay, and we want to know v of x, v as a function of x, then this, we don't know this, but we have v of x. This is the chain rule, di ba? Katong giano na ko sa inyo last time. We want to get this d over dt, but we only know v of as a function of x, but x is a function of time. So this is equal to dv over dx over dt. But what is dx over dt? This is the velocity, right? So from now, the equation now is a dx equals v dv. Now when you integrate this is just, this will give us what? Ax minus x naught equals, again, when the particle is at x naught, the velocity was v naught. When the particle is at x, its velocity must be v, the correspondence. Okay? Meaning that if you have a vt, and suppose this is an xt space, xt, you have vt. This is the vt space. The vt space could be this, right? This point right here is that, and this point corresponds to that. Nakuha? Kana siya. The 2 points must correspond. Okay, there's this correspondence in between. So this is now 1/2 v minus 1/2 v naught squared. Okay, when you integrate that easily. Okay, or you have now 2a x minus x naught equals v squared minus v naught squared. This is now the fourth equation. Okay? And we have, these four equations are the known kinematic equations. And they are all derived from, they are all coming from one principle. Okay? Newton's laws of motion. Okay? What we did here was that we stated that F is constant. So actually, everything, what we will be doing is always tweaking either summation of F or the A. We will be tweaking this one, no? This is what we are going to change. Changing this F, no? What if F is a function of position? What if F is a function of velocity? We will obtain our solutions, and the solutions will be the kinematics. And in most cases, the kinematics will not depend on mass. Did you see the mass here? So meaning that regardless whether the particle is light or heavy, it doesn't matter. So meaning that one example of constant force motion is just this, the free fall motion. What's the free fall motion? It's a constant motion in which x becomes y, x naught becomes y naught, and A becomes minus G. That's the free fall motion. And sa ato pa, it's a constant force. Yes, it's a constant force. What is the force? It's downward, and that's mg. It started where? You have ma, which is constant. This is now mg, right? Minus, the net force is minus mg, equals m dv over dt. Now, if you go to this again, then what you get is an equation minus g is equal to this. And of course, you achieve the same, ra, di ba? Because we have a constant a. Here, a is constant, so just replace it, but minus g, what happens to the equation? This one would become 2g, y minus y naught, but then there's a negative here. I will absorb, so this will reverse now. So this is b naught squared minus b squared. Now, what happens to this equation? This is b equals v naught. Still, we have v naught, but it's on the y direction. Okay, minus gt. And this one becomes y minus y naught equals v naught t minus 1/2 gt squared. And this one is just, again, just replace the variable by y. And the free fall motion is the best example of this one. Okay? And of course, motion in a straight line that has a constant acceleration, uniform acceleration. Again, why a system can have a constant acceleration? Because the net force is constant. It's always about the force. The force is the reason. The kinematics will give us the how objects will move, the trajectory. But the why will be explained by, it's the dynamics, it's the Newton's laws of motion. Okay, but they are not disconnect. Once you know the why, you will know the how, right? And that's the same goes to you. When you solve, when you're actually, everything sa tanang ano ninyo, don't just ask how. How to solve that. How to solve this. Or how to do this, not only in solving problem. Okay, when you're given a how to, there are lots of how-to books. But sometimes we forget, and many times that we forget asking why am I doing this? So, because it's a deeper question. How? Why? How is just the means. Why is the purpose? So deeper question, and it gives you the reason, the cause, the causation. Okay, why things are. So here, since we are running out of time, okay, the examples will be given. Only one example maybe, or I don't know. May example dito sa previous video, right? In the video there's like an example. And then the next video in the university, because there are two parallels, di ba? Itong isang playlist is the university physics. This is introductory physics nga playlist. Ang university physics it's calculus based. Pero pare-pareho lang sila og kuan. So tanaw-tanaw lang mo dito sa Pikas nga playlist kay there might be some things there nga matudlo nako nga dili nga medyo it could be that dili kayo nako maano dire, or at least namoy duha ka perspective. Okay? So, nasabtan ninyo?